What's up you guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to Still the Spotlight. Today I'm going to be sharing kind of like my take on some closet essentials, which is hugely inspired by my recent trip to Korea, because as I was walking around the streets of Seoul, everyone looked so freaking stylish, but when I really started to break it down, the pieces they were wearing were actually fairly simple and things that you would consider more like wardrobe basics, but it was just the way that they were pairing them together that really made it stylish. So I've been taking a ton of inspo from that recently for my everyday closet, and I figured you guys might find it interesting too, or especially helpful if you want to start up more of a capsule wardrobe, because all of these categories are very versatile and things that you can easily mix and match to make sure you're getting the most money out of the items you're buying, which also kind of brings me to today's sponsor, which is Shoptagger. I'm so grateful that I get to work with them once again because they're honestly one of my favorite applications. And if you guys haven't heard of them before, it is a completely free and super easy little button to download onto your web browser. And from then on, whenever you're online shopping and you see a piece that you like, you just click on your little button and save it to your desired list. And that way they can notify you whenever the item goes on sale. They send you notifications via email, but if you download the mobile app, then they can also send you push notifications if that's easier. One of the reasons I actually really love it though is because I hate jumping into any online purchases. Just like to let it sit and marinate for a little while. So if I'm looking for something specific, I will kind of open up all of my options, add them to one list, and then it's just a lot easier to weigh up the best piece for me and my wardrobe. So it's actually a really good way to organize your shopping as well. But I know we're all about saving a bit of coin where we can, so they've recently added a new feature as well. So you'll see a little pop-up whenever you're on a page where you're about to check out, and it will scan the internet for any available discount codes for you to apply. And I'm so stoked that they added that feature. They really got us broke girls covered at the moment. So if you guys are doing any online shopping whatsoever, I would totally recommend checking them out, and I'll leave a link to them down below in the description box. Okay, I think we're gonna break down tops first, just because that has like the most subcategories to dive into. But the first one is something that I never used to consider an essential, and it is a button-up shirt. In my eyes, this always used to be like something more on the fancy side that you only really needed in your wardrobe if you were going to work. But ever since I started getting into K-fashion, I realized that is not the case, and they can actually be a really versatile piece to own. This one I did actually pick up when I was over there, and as you can see on the hanger, it is nothing special. It is literally just a plain beige with a white pinstripe in a very boxy sort of silhouette, but that personally is my favorite silhouette to style. They can be buttoned up, worn loosely, undone. I mean, if you're feeling wild, you could even do a bit of a half button situation. I don't know. But these can definitely be teamed with a variety of other basic pieces to keep the look fresh. And for this video, the one thing I really didn't want to do is hold up just one piece and be like, I recommend this to everyone, because that is so unrealistic. So for each subcategory, I'm going to be showing you a few different options so you can see what sort of thing you might gravitate more towards for your own personal style. So this is definitely a very classic option. A white button up would be even more of a classic option. This one is very pajamas, but make it fashion, and I just wanted to include it for a darker color palette option. This obviously has more of a trend-based element to it with the tie-dye pattern, which is massive in Korea currently, but I'm also showing this for reference on the overall silhouette. This is my favorite style, and it is actually from the men's section, but I do like how lightweight and flowy it is, perfect to throw on in summer, which can be a time that is very difficult to do any layering. And the last sort of variation I have is actually a checked flannel shirt like the one I'm wearing at the moment. I do have a couple of other examples too, but I think this is definitely the best option if you're someone who has a very relaxed, casual approach to your wardrobe. Next is probably the most boring item of the bunch, but I can guarantee you these feature in my videos more times than anything else I own, and it is just a plain old turtleneck. You can wear these so many different ways. I honestly could not live without a black and a white version. These are just like intro to layering 101, perfect for that transitional weather, just adds dimension to any look, but you can also style them really nicely on their own for a more chic, sophisticated vibe if you're so inclined. Now, I don't know if you're ready for this next one because it is truly groundbreaking. It is indeed a t-shirt.
Wow.
I feel like the most recommended is usually a plain white tee that's semi-fitted. Personally, that doesn't work for my wardrobe, which again, I just encourage you guys to kind of get in there, play around with what silhouettes feel best suited to you and what's going to work with what you already own in your wardrobe. For me personally, it is a very boxy, oversized fit. What a surprise, I know, but I have a few of my favorites to share. All of these are actually from Korea and they have small details that I want to recommend to you guys. And this is what I mean by how even just a basic piece can feel like something more special. So for example, we have this plain black t-shirt, but it has a contrast white stitch, which automatically just brings a new point of interest to the look without you having to do anything extra. This one is actually my boyfriend's that I like to steal occasionally, but I kid you not, every time he wears it, he gets compliments. And I think the main reason for it is actually the neckline. If you compare this to just a regular t-shirt, it's actually quite a lot thicker. The other thing I love is the drop shoulder. This has become an absolute must for me when I'm looking at buying a t-shirt because it just sits so nicely and kind of makes it more of an intentional loose fit. Of course, another easy way to add interest without having to accessorize is opting for a graphic tee as well. And obviously you can go as simple or as intricate as you want. I would recommend trying to look for a graphic that incorporates colors that you already wear a lot though. That just makes things easier to pair with. For me personally, red is a color that finds its way into my outfits a lot. So often I'll try and find a graphic featuring that. And again, with the trend driven tie-dye, but you really can't escape it when you're looking at K-fashion at the moment. But this is another example of a really basic tee. I think this is like $11 or something, but it just falls really nicely. The last item on my list of tops is kind of going to depend on the choices you've made thus far, but obviously I've for the most part stuck to more like oversized boxy sort of silhouettes. So I want a piece that's going to help balance out my looks a little bit. So I want to finish things off with a more tight-fitted feminine piece. This white blouse you guys have seen a hell of a lot of. It is a go-to of mine, especially in the warmer weather, obviously. But again, it's just a really simple concept that's made better through the little details like the frill hem and the lace up in the front. I also really love the length on this one, which is another key thing to keep in mind because sometimes I buy something that I think is cute, but if it's not the right length, I just don't gravitate towards it as much. So totally up to personal preference, but just think about if you want something very cropped, full length, or in my opinion, this is like Goldilocks perfect medium. If you're not into that whole spring picnic milkmaid aesthetic thing though, I think this is a really nice option as well. Again, I just wanted something fitted to counterbalance some of my more oversized pieces. This does the job perfectly. You can also ruche it to be as cropped or uncropped as you please. This one's just from YesStyle, but the quality on it is actually really, really good. It comes in a bunch of different colors, and I think you can even opt for short sleeve as well for those of you who are going into the warmer weather. Shall we move on to dresses? And the first one is kind of just a continuation from the white blouse from earlier because it's literally the exact same thing in dress form, and I mostly just wanted to mention it for those of you who want to get the most bang for your buck because you could totally skip out on the white blouse and just get the dress and kind of have it as a 2-for-1 because obviously you can wear it as is, but it has little enough fabric that for the most part it's pretty easy to tuck into most bottoms, so you can also have the best of both worlds. Of course, we also have what everyone references, the little black dress. For some reason, I want to call this the frenemy of the white dress from previous, but I have a couple of different options to keep in mind. This first one here, I really like the details on, again with the contrast stitching, but also this exposed zipper all the way down the center. So I feel like this is a good option for those of you who kind of like to style in a more edgy sort of way. I don't know, as the word edgy came out of my mouth, I literally cringed. So please tell me a good replacement word for that. But you guys know the sort of vibe I mean. If you're someone who's more into the nightlife, I could see this being a really good option. Personally, I respect it, but it ain't me, so I don't really get anywhere out of that one. And my go-to option would be literally the most basic of all. And it is just this 90s inspired silhouette with the straight neckline, shoestring straps, and the ribbed fabric. This one is the most versatile for me, and I believe it is because it is fitted. That way you can really transform it into a skirt, a top, wear it as is, layer it as you please. The next point I would definitely skip over if you weren't specifically looking at getting into that K fashion sort of aesthetic, but personally I see a lot of full length or midi length dresses pop up whenever you follow like those K-style Instagram accounts. So I have a few options that you might want to keep in mind. The first one is this polka dot print, but I feel like the key to it really is the tiered layers at the bottom. It does look kind of granny-ish on the hanger, but there are a few different ways that you can style it, especially if you're feeling a bit more game and willing to try some more creative looks. This silhouette is significantly less grandma and has a really nice summer sort of vibe to it. I absolutely adore this color. If you're someone who doesn't inject too much color into your wardrobe but have a lot of earth tones, I feel like this is a really good stepping stone. The last one I have is another patterned option, and it has more of a baby doll sort of style to it, but the main thing I wanted to focus on was actually the sleeves, because I feel like these puff kind of balloon sleeves is something I saw a lot of. Again, my main issue with maxi dresses is just that it's harder to style them in multiple ways, but it does really force you to get creative and you can sometimes come up with some fun looks. Finally, switching pace into some bottoms now, and you already know top of the list has to be a good pair of denim jeans, and this one more so than any other category is totally up to personal preference. I can't personally do skinny jeans anymore. They just look revolting on me and I do not understand how I was convinced to wear them for so many years, but I feel like a lot of people more so now are getting into mum jeans or just more of a straight fit as well, and personally the ones that have been most worn ever since I purchased them are just this plain mid-wash blue pair. They are more of a straight sort of silhouette, and then the point of difference comes at the very bottom where they have this large oversized cuff. Definitely not for everyone, but I love it and something that I never would have gravitated towards if it wasn't for the K fashion inspo. Another favorite of mine, which I actually purchased online from Style Nanda, is more of a wide leg fit with kind of a baggy sort of silhouette. This is a style that I've seen a lot of K-pop idols wearing kind of like off-duty, like you'll see Jennie wear quite a lot in her airport sort of fashion. Again, a style that's probably not for everyone, but if you are looking for something like this, I think the most important part is actually the length, and getting one that sits really nicely on your sneakers I feel like makes all the difference. I actually have a more baggy light wash pair from Chu coming via Yes Style, so I'll keep you updated on those. The other pants option I have is a pair of black trousers, and you could go for any number of styles, even if you wanted to go for a pair of black denim, leggings, black sweatpants if that's more your style, but the one that I've chosen today is this pair of kind of black wide leg trousers slacks. I was definitely very inspired by Tay's airport style when I purchased these, and I think these are a really good option for those of you looking for a smart casual capsule wardrobe. I also find that styling a basic like this somehow just makes your outfit look a little bit more expensive for some reason, but I think these were like under $30. Next in bottoms, I have two skirt options, and these are both mini skirts, but you could totally switch it out for a midi length if that's what you're more comfortable with. Honestly, everything I feature today, don't feel like I'm like, oh, you have to buy this. This is the perfect capsule wardrobe. Everything is just ideas and inspo. Take it, leave it, mix it around with your own ideas, but the first one is a black skirt or just a plain skirt in general. You could opt for white if that fits more in with your color scheme, but for me, I always gravitate towards a black. This one is my most worn at the moment. I absolutely adore the silver hardware, but obviously that really fits my style. I love layering on a lot of silver accessories at the moment, but of course you could opt for a more plain option as well. I think it's just about getting the perfect fit. Here's a quick look at the white option I had. I do believe you can actually order this in black as well though. And again, this one just has that point of difference with the really interesting asymmetric split, the buttons, the contrast stitching, this little like faux pocket thing happening. So although it is just a basic white skirt, it still has a lot of detail to it. I also really like to have a printed skirt on hand, especially if you have a lot of plain block color tops, then I feel like these really do come in handy. Personally, I love a good check plaid moment, and this one is perfect for those of you who are scared of leaning to like schoolgirl in a check print skirt because the neutral color palette and also the linen material I feel like really takes it away from that. But if you are looking at taking inspo from K-pop rather than just general K-fashion, then by all means go all in on the schoolgirl vibe. This is actually one that I just thrifted, but it's one of my favorites. I really like that it's not just the basic tennis skirt cut that a lot are, and it has this thicker band on the top and more subtle pleating. All right, I have 4 outerwear options, and these were by far the most common I saw when I was just walking around the streets in Hongdae, and I also do feel like they would fit into most people's wardrobe essentials as well. The first one is just an oversized blazer, and if I could only pick one option out of the 4 I'm about to show you, this would definitely be it, just because I find this the easiest to dress both up and down, and also for the sort of climate we have here, I feel like I can wear this one all year round. I really do love the juxtaposition of styling a very smart item like this with something more casual. I also really like playing around with silhouette options by either cinching it in at the waist, or even when you team it up with a dress or a skirt that hits at exactly the same place as the blazer. I feel like that creates a really nice silhouette. You could wear it with something really cropped underneath, which would almost lean more like Insta baddie, but yeah, somehow the blazer just manages to work its way into many different personal styles. A leather jacket is a piece that is always brought up in these type of videos, but honestly, I was never really on board until this year. So this is an item that's still fairly new to me and I'm trying to play around with, but I can see why it is an old faithful for so many people, because there's just something about it that as soon as you throw it on, you have like this effortless, carefree attitude, but still somehow look really put together. If you've somehow managed to stick on my channel for the past few years, then you would know that past Katie would swear by the denim jacket. This was absolutely my #1 item, but recently I just haven't been gravitating towards it for like the last year or so, I want to say, but I did still want to include it because on days when I just have absolutely no idea what to wear, or I'm running late and I quickly need to grab an outfit combo, chances are I'll end up using the denim jacket because it is just such a fail-proof option. The most common coat I saw styled by both males and females would definitely have to be the trench coat, and this is something I wish I wore more, but honestly this one is really heavy duty and our weather just doesn't really permit it. And if I was going out at nighttime when it's really cold, I feel like I don't go anywhere that fancy that I'm gonna whip this bad boy out. So again, it really is important to factor in things like weather and lifestyle when choosing which wardrobe essentials are right for you. Something that I think K-fashion has really nailed at getting in their wardrobe essentials would have to be knitwear, and take your pick because we have one of everything here. I'm just gonna run through it really quickly. I feel like one of the first ways they influenced my style was definitely through the sweater vest. It was something I'd never really considered before, but now I would happily wear it every single day. I have quite the collection, which includes some funky colors and patterns, but these two are probably the most wearable options I have. Just a really classic varsity sort of style, and also this one here, which is cropped, and surprisingly I find even easier to style than one that's full length because it is a little bit more flattering. Sometimes when they have the band on the bottom and then they hit mid-thigh, it kind of just makes you look a little bit wider than you are. Of course, the sweater vest isn't going to be for everyone, so I've also thrown in just a fully developed sweater option as well. Cardigans are the last style I wanted to include, and the baggier the better for me. I have one that's more of a long line length, and this is serious cozy vibes. I wore this for a week straight recently, absolutely no regrets. It's the perfect option for like bumming around the house, but if you do need to be seen in public, it still does the job just fine. I actually just recently picked up this really striped one with a boxy cut, and it's already taken the place of the previous one I showed you. I wore this all weekend long. Although I am in winter at the moment, I know a bunch of you are enjoying the summer sun, so I wanted to include just this really lightweight knit cardigan as well. You know, knitwear doesn't mean that it has to be for the cold weather. You can definitely make it work all year round with the right pieces. And these little 90s baby cardies are having a serious moment. Also, I was supposed to say earlier, I'm not including any shoes or accessories in this video. I know you guys have been requesting it for a while, so I actually want to do a fully dedicated one to accessories, which is coming probably not the next video, but the one after that. So definitely stay tuned. But for now, I just have one last category, and this is like the lowest priority of the bunch. I definitely don't think many people would consider it an essential per se, but if you are looking at building up a wardrobe that's very versatile, I think these can really come in handy, and it's actually having a two-piece or matching set. My personal vote for most versatility points would be opting for something that is a jacket and matching bottoms. For me, I always seem to gravitate towards a mini skirt. The pink, obviously not the most wearable option, but it is in a denim fabric, so of course you could opt for a more traditional blue wash. If out of the outerwear options you were leaning more towards the blazer earlier, then maybe a matching blazer and bottom set could really come in handy, kind of killing two birds with one stone by having the blazer and the check skirt as well. These two here feature a short sleeve button-up shirt with a matching bottom, and both are from Korean brands. I think that the mint colored one is so freaking adorable, and this is definitely a silhouette that I see a lot of, again, on those like K-fashion Instagram pages. And if you guys saw the haul from my trip, this check set was actually one of my favorite pickups. Perhaps the most sensible choice is opting for a matching sweatsuit, just a pair of tracky bottoms, and I prefer just a pullover sweatshirt rather than like a zip-up hoodie or anything. But yeah, originally I wasn't going to feature it because I'm not sold on this one. I don't really like the quality. I feel like it's too thin. So if you guys do have any recommendations on ones that you love, then please hit me up, because I feel like this is the one thing that's really missing in my closet at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much a summary of what I'd consider to be a capsule wardrobe option loosely inspired by K-fashion. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and let me know any other themes that you might want to see in the future, as well as what some of your wardrobe essentials are. I feel like everyone's style is so different and personal to them that you really can't just put like a blanket 10 items on everyone. So I'd love to hear from you on what you can't live without, and maybe I'll even see you over on my Instagram, which is @StealTheSpotlight. Otherwise, hopefully I catch you next time. Bye guys. Mwah.